Hey everyone, welcome to today's video. I'm Rathnakumar. I'm a blogger, tech entrepreneur, product and data guy. Today we're going to look at one of the other use cases of ChatGPT. I was just thinking about different use cases that we could run today. But then, as I was looking at the use cases, is when I understood, there could be a furthermore very impactful thing that we can speak about. As soon as when you talk about tech revolutions or tech introduction, tech disruptions, there's always a certain amount of impact that is going to happen. That's going to happen across the industry. Think about the time where Microsoft OS came into play. A lot of core programmers has to be taken off because it became much more easier to once you had computers, once you had internet, there's a specific type of jobs that went off. Once you had mobile applications, there's a specific type of jobs and industries that went off. That's exactly what we're going to look at today. While ChatGPT is still primitive, but as soon as it gets a little more matured, what is the type of jobs that it could actually or eventually push out of the equation? But and looking into it, there are multiple things that we can look at, but I have my top three picks. And when I even talk about top three picks, let me just be very sure about something. These are the picks that are from my point of view. Your point of view could be different, and also even from my point of view, I feel it is very very early to be able to make such predictions. But if not for a disruption, if not for a complete sort of vanishing of these professionals, but at least there will be a very good amount of intervention of ChatGPT into those roles, to the extent that it could really affect the people who really sort of kickstart. You don't have to worry about people who have like 15 years of experience in that specific domain, but definitely for the people who have just started in the domain will definitely feel the impact of ChatGPT. Let's look into them straight away. Number one, copywriters. I think the first field that it's going to have a great impact is copywriters, or a negative impact is the copywriters. Especially, I'm not talking about the J.K. Rowling's sort of people. No, definitely not. But I'm talking about people who work in small mid-sized companies or even larger enterprises, where they are specifically designated towards writing a specific piece of content. And I'm also talking about people like bloggers, or social digital influencers who write very specific content on specific niche domains, or specific niche domains or specific topics. Those are the type of people who are going to be impacted. Think about it. 10 years ago, when I was a blogger, I think if I had ChatGPT, I would be worried. So because it's going to give you the comprised content in a much refined way, so which means it's going to have a very great impact on these sort of roles. So copywriters who write sales contents, marketing contents, are going to have a lot more sort of trouble because of an AI intervention. That's something that can be foreseen. And like I said, the bloggers, the social influencers who are working on niche content on specific topics, those sort of people will definitely feel the impact of ChatGPT. So that's number one pick for me. Number two, programming. I think programmers, I'm talking about early programmers, like I talked about, very people who are pretty new to the programming industry. I'm not talking about people who have like 15 years of experience on certain things, no, but people who are just getting into it, or people who are trying to switch from, let's say, web programming into hardcore programming, or people who know one specific programming language, and they're trying to migrate into others. Those are the type of people who will definitely have problem with ChatGPT, because think about it, right? Not only gives you the code, it explains the code, it debugs the code, it sort of it even to the extent it could figure out the small nuances in the code, and you can rewrite the code itself. You can push out a code and then look for a specific functionalities to be rewritten. So thinking about these sort of use cases, it's going to definitely dearly and nearly impact people who are early joiners, or people who are very early into the career, when it comes to programming. But it's not going to have a great impact on people who are into programming for a long time, who's running a whole team, or who has enough and more experience into the domain, purely because ChatGPT is not going to figure out how to be able to build build a product. It's not going to be able to figure out how to build an application, but it can definitely be able to figure out how to build an API or a small piece of information or a small feature into an application. Those are the things that it can definitely be able to help and assist you, which means it's going to definitely impact people who are just starting their career into programming, but not people who have a lot of experience into the programming domain altogether. So that's the second industry that I see could get dearly and nearly affected, which is programming. Number three, customer support. I think customer support, not just as a role, but even as a whole domain, could have a very substantial change with the intervention of ChatGPT, especially because you can build ChatGPT APIs which can respond back to emails when a customer when a customer is asking for an writing back an email to on a specific product, or when there's a ticket that is raised, how to be able to handle those tickets. And then let's say when there's a query from a customer, just say chat, because we already have very good amount of chat options available, which gets you information from a very small pool of data that is fed into the chat box, and be able to respond back to it. And a lot of companies are already adopting it. But then you look at ChatGPT, and if you could build it as an API and be able to integrate it with website, with all the socially available content that is that is available across the globe, and then the proprietary content that you can feed into the ChatGPT, and combined with, let's say, a cloud backend system like an Azure or a Google Cloud or an AWS. When you bring all these elements together, it's a disaster for the whole silo of jobs. So customer support is one industry of the three which I actually think would have a greater impact, and something that could be disrupted nearly and dearly. So to my choice, customer success as a domain itself could have a lot more changes in the coming years, based on how the chat GPT and its dominance in the industry grows. So summing up all of them, there are three industries that I feel really could have greater impact by the infusion of ChatGPT. Number one is copywriting, number two is programming, and number three is customer success. If you like my content, please do like the videos and share it with your friends. Also, please subscribe to the channel to watch the upcoming videos. Have a great day. Thank you. Bye bye.